Hello and welcome to the all-new Marvel Roundup, the Southgate Media Group's guide to the Marvel Comics of the week. As always, I am Phil Parrish, and joining me is...
Charlie Esser.
Alright, everyone. Of course, I have the big stack, so I'll start us off with Extraordinary X-Men number 19. Of course, another Inhumans vs. X-Men crossover. This one... It's taking place in the middle of the battle between the Inhumans and the X-Men, but I guess you remember that young girl Sapna who Magic was like hanging out with and kind of like training her. I guess her spirit is like stuck in her soul sword.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. This is Inhumans. Is that still going on? Didn't that end or?
I guess not.
With the death of Cyclops, or are they still fighting about something?
Well, no, because that wasn't that like the prequel, and then this is like.
Oh, that was. Okay. So
Yeah.
so they're still fighting for reasons.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got confused there. Mutant books.
Yeah, no, that's okay. Yeah, so like a lot of this issue takes place in the Soul Sword, and Sapna is just telling Magic, why don't you stay here with me, and then Magic's like, I have to go help my friends, but eventually, I'll figure out a way to help you. But then when Magic goes back out on the battlefield, Sapna's kind of like standing there like a ghost. And Magic tells Colossus, if anything happens to me, get Doctor Strange and tell him I'm in the sword. But yeah, that's about it, because they'll show like a few pages of the battle, and then most of it's like in the Soul Sword with like Sapna begging her to stay there. But I mean, yeah, it was good, but like you say, yeah, they're still fighting for who knows what reason. But no, it was good. It was thumbs up. Oh, that reminds me, Stockton Piner sent us, I believe, an Inhumans vs. X-Men email. So.
Okay.
Then I guess I'll go to
put that in here somewhere.
What?
So we can put that in here somewhere.
Yeah. I guess I'll go to Mighty Captain Marvel number 2. Yeah, I guess it's just number 2. Begins with Carol and Sasquatch and Puck basically making repairs on the space station because budget, I guess. And Carol's powers.
They got that big TV money now,
Don't count on that, but then Carol's powers flare out of control and she kind of blasts part of the station. And I guess the cast of the TV show is up on the space station because I guess they're doing a location shoot. But then Carol's powers fluctuate again. She must hit some kind of, I don't know, power source or something, 'cause the lights go out and things are going crazy. And then I guess it's that same alien bounty hunter from last issue. He attacks Carol. He was disguised as her cat.
Phil, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Phil?
Yeah, the TV crew's up there, I guess, doing a location shoot, but then Carol's powers flare out of control again and knock out the power, which lets the bounty hunter, I guess, from last issue attack her, and it's that shapeshifter. He was disguised as her cat, but she gets rid of him pretty easily, and he escapes. But I guess they realize they figure out that Kree girl they rescued, what was it, last issue? I guess when she's in proximity to Carol, she causes her powers to flare out of control.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. And then they're looking for an expert to help them with this, and I guess one of her people tells her, yeah, there's someone who is working for Stark Industries, so cool. So she's like, oh, well, if things hadn't gone bad with me and Tony, yeah, this would be a lot easier, blah, blah, blah. But I guess they track down this expert to an Antarctic research station, but then Carol looks like she gets caught in some kind of avalanche. And that's how the issue ends. But, no, this has been an enjoyable series. It's a thumbs up for me.
Okay, pretty awesome. That'll lead me to my first book, Deadpool the Duck. Yeah, this still isn't on the pull list. It's like every week it's sort of like in that spot where I debate, and then it does wind up coming through. But it's an interesting book, and it's a lot of fun. We open up with Deadpool in Howard's body, with Deadpool off in the negative zone. One second. And Deadpool, they put Rocket in the rabies machine, but Deadpool hasn't pushed the button yet to turn it on. Howard's getting very frustrated. And then Howard basically takes over his body again, pushes Deadpool out. Now Deadpool's in the negative zone and Howard's there. He turns on the machine, but of course at just that moment, Basalt shows up. And she basically starts attacking, and was hoping that Deadpool would come back at this point. A little annoyed they don't reference Quack Fu here, because he is a master of Quack Fu. But he just says that that Deadpool's metabolism and his body and the body must have muscle memory, because he's basically kicking everybody's butt. Basalt does get the drop on them, but then comes S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Mary, and you find out that Basalt is actually S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent Mary's mom. Battle ensues. Someone gets shot straight through. Rocket comes out, says, "I have no idea what's going on. They fight their way out. In the end, Basalt does leave. Hydra agents all... the Roxxon agents all... what's the word I'm looking for? All give up because, because they don't have pensions anyway. And that leaves Deadpool, the Duck, and Rocket sort of on their own. But we see that Basalt, who has been captured... We found out who the mastermind who's been pulling the strings the whole time. Who do you think the mastermind pulling the strings the whole time was, Phil?
I don't know.
Who's the one person who has a specific interest in human-animal hybrids?
The High Evolutionary?
No, Dr. Bong. Yes. Yeah, honestly, I just picked it up because I realized that Dr. Bong was on the last page, and not there's a lot of great things in here. There's a lot, and I kind of glossed over most of it. Not the least of which is the fact that as they're going through all their motivations. One of the things that really sets Howard off is, he says, Basalt says, I had to, take care of you, and or like, don't justify yourself with a corporation, was basically his statement, and it's pretty awesome. There's a lot of great Howard the Duck callbacks throughout it. It's very much a Howard the Duck book that Deadpool kind of got literally forced into. So big thumbs up for it. I really like Deadpool the Duck. I don't know if I'm getting the next issue. A lot of these books, it's like, it's like when I did my Marvelous review over at the World's Finest. It's like, I like the book, I like the characters. Don't know if it's going to get pulled because it's like, it's fun, but is there a greater story?
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, then, since you did Deadpool the Duck, I guess I'll do Spider-Man Deadpool number 14. This one's interesting. It's a lot of this issue is Spider-Man in church talking to someone, almost like a confession. Which, if you look at the cover, you probably know who he's confessing to. But he's basically talking about Itsy Bitsy and how him and Deadpool have been looking for her, nonstop, and every time they try to catch her, they're seconds too late, and she leaves a trail of dead bodies. And we were talking before about how he's talking about how he's having these dark thoughts now, but I guess he's talking about killing Itsy Bitsy, and he's basically confessing. Well, half confessing, half like training with like swords with Nightcrawler. The spiritual guidance of the X universe.
Yes.
Then we get Pretty Boy Wade Wilson, telling Spider-Man he has to stop. Then him talking to Shikla. Oh, and the interesting thing is we get it's revealed who Patient Zero was, and I was right. I just threw it out there, but I was right. Patient Zero.
Who was it?
Weasel.
Oh, well, actually, I think I was the one who said that, but yeah. Okay.
What?
Well, no, okay, no. To be fair, no, you had. I said, is there anyone that had a tie to him? And you said, well, the only person who did was Weasel.
Mm-hmm.
He was the one person who had a tie to both of them.
Yeah. But he still doesn't seem to. Weasel still didn't say anything about knowing that he was Peter Parker, because he knew Peter Parker, unless he just thinks he'll mess with Parker by messing with Spider-Man. I don't know. But he basically tells Wade, he's like, you weren't much of a friend, and then he's like, now you have a wife, and he says, now you're an Avenger, and everyone's just supposed to, forget that what a big piece of poop you were, and but Weasel says, I found a partner with a mutual taste for darkness, so I wonder who the partner is. Although it's almost like they almost make it look like a dream or like a hallucination when he's talking to Weasel, so they could get out of it that way, or unless he's like working with Mephisto or something.
Or maybe he's working with what's his name? Who's Mephisto's son?
Oh, Blackheart.
Blackheart, yeah.
Ooh,
I mean, honestly, that might make the most sense since he was the villain in the start of the series.
Yeah. But once again, the weird thing with this series, because I was talking to the Rob about this today, it's like this is issue 14. This story continues in issue 17 because the next two issues, I guess, are tying in with the solo Deadpool book for Till Death Do Us, which I guess is the big battle with Shikla, that they hinted at it in the 2099 storyline.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I guess the next two issues of this are crossing over with the next two issues of Deadpool.
Well, that's good.
Because there's a cover with him and Shikla sword fighting, and there's one with Spider-Man fighting demon, monsters. But I mean, it's good. It's a thumbs up. But like I said, I was talking to Rob about this today. It's like you would think with a book with Spider-Man and Deadpool there'd be a little more comedy, but it's kind of dark,
Rob or Phil, where'd you go again?
You hear me?
So, where were we?
But yeah, like I was saying, Spider-Man Deadpool's good, but it's kind of dark for two characters who are supposed to be, kind of like humorous.
Yeah, it is. I'm not quite sure how to take it all. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I know. All right, then I got one more. Well, at this round, I guess we'll go to Infamous Iron Man number 5.
Oh, yeah, good old Infamous Iron Man. Yeah, I really have kind of soured on this book after this one, although I did get the quote-unquote big twist plot at the end.
Oh, yeah. It opens up with Ben Grimm's in, like, I guess the S.H.I.E.L.D. infirmary, and Maria Hill says, yeah, we found you, and he says, oh, I was falling apart. She's like, you were? And he says, yeah. He's like, Doom's mother put a spell on me, and Maria Hill says, I thought she was dead. And he says, yeah, I think everyone thought she was dead. And she's like, then what happened? He's like, Doom saved my life. And they flash back. Doom sees his mother, and she's like, take off your mask, and I want to see you. And he's like, how dare you? Who are you? and he's kind of throwing spells at her, and she's blocking them. And he keeps saying, "Who are you?" And she says, "Scan me with your armor, do your X-rays and whatever else." She says, "Use the identity spell of the Gan Metator." She's like, "Test my heartbeat, my voice, see if I'm lying." She's like, "I know it's a lot to take in, but it is. I am your mother." And he's like, "My mother has passed." And she's like, "Don't make me take that armor off of you." And he's like, "You want me to believe you've been alive all this time?" And she's like, "In the technical sense, yes." And he's like, "And after all these years, you have no problem with me thinking you were dead?" He's like, "You come to me now?" And what does she say, Charlie? She says, "Because now I am proud of you."
Oh.
She says, "You were Doctor Doom. Up until recently, you filled me with, I'm sorry, but great shame." She says, "Every time you fought or raged on this world, I wanted to scream, you're better than this." She's like, "You are a king, a warrior, you are a man of high science. And frankly, I think you should be sorcerer supreme of this realm." And he goes, "I'm not convinced I'm not."
Yes, good old Doom.
Ego's still there.
Modest to a fault.
But he basically tells her to free Ben Grimm from the spell. And, but then Doom's like, this is all from Ben Grimm's perspective. So Doom's asking his mother, "If I shamed you all these years, why wouldn't you tell me? Why wouldn't you try and stop me?" And his mother says, "Because." And then Ben Grimm passes out, so he doesn't hear the answer.
Yeah. Go on.
So they're on the helicarrier hovering over the castle, and Doom and his mother are long gone, but I guess they're taking General Craddock into custody, and I don't know to question him, but
isn't he the leader of Latveria at the moment?
I guess, I don't know. It looks like they're.
What did he put the whatever the professor in charge?
Yeah, I don't know, but it looks like Shield's at least gonna have a talk with him. They're like leading him away.
So okay, sure, why not?
Yeah, but then back at Cambridge, Dum Dum Dugan is questioning what's her face? Was it Amara Pereira?
Yeah, Mar.
Yeah, and basically, question her, "Where's Doom at? What's he what's he doing?" And she's like, she's like, "I didn't ask for any of this," and then she finds out that the Chancellor has asked her to leave the university because everything that's happened. And
what you're wrong with supervillains,
Yeah, well, she said because Dugan's still asking her, "What does Doom want?" And she says, "I don't know." She goes, "All I know is I want my life to go back to what it was before Tony Stark and all of you came." So then Dugan and Shield
don't we all,
sister? But then Dugan and Shield leave, and of course, who shows up? Victor.
Doom. Oh yeah, of course.
And he's like, "Thank you for not." He's like, "Thank you for not sharing anything with those lackeys." And she says, "What, are you stalking me?" He says, "I'm not. I just don't have a phone."
His armor doesn't have a phone.
Yeah, really? Seriously. Yeah, I know. And he tells her he met his mother after thinking she was dead, and he says he's sorry about
after freeing her soul from the afterlife.
But he said he's sorry for all the turmoil he caused in her life, and his intentions were otherwise. And then she's trying to push him away, but then she's like, "What happened with your mother?" And he says, well, then they flash back, and to him saying, "If you were ashamed of me, why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you try and stop me?" And his mother says, "Because I love you." And throw a couple more spells, and then she disappears after saying, "We'll finish this another day when you're more inclined." Uh, and he talks about how her soul was trapped in hell when he thought he saved her. And Amara's like, I can never tell if you're joking or not. And he's talking to Amara. She's like, I can't fix you. I can't even fix myself. And as Doom's flying away, we get the final page, Charlie, where we see his mother and a mysterious. Well, the figure says, "Did you mention my name?" And his mother says, "No, we didn't actually talk much." And the figure says, "I'm proud of you, Cynthia. That could not have been easy." And she says, "Thank you, Reed."
Bum bum bum. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So is this Ultimate Reed? Is this a whole plot by him? I can't believe it's actual Reed. I mean,
no,
basically you have two options. One is Dark Rider. Dark Raider. Was it Dark Raider or Dark Rider?
I think it's Reed
from the evil Reed from a universe where he didn't save the Fantastic Four. Oh, you know who else it could be? I don't think he's alive, but there's the Nazi Reed Doom hybrid.
Oh yeah, but no, from the looks of the next from
the Council of Reeds.
Yeah, but
who basically founded the Council of Reeds.
From the look of the next cover, it looks like it's the Maker, the Ultimate. Ultimate Universe.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't see the next cover, so yeah. So there we go. Yeah, I mean, that's what I got to figure. It's got to be, because he does come in slices, and there's one of him in every universe. So this could even be a Cynthia from a universe where she didn't die. Could be an alternate universe Cynthia, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I was like, I'm kind of, how do you make a book featuring Ben Grimm and Dr. Doom that Charlie Esser is not, say, oh, I got to read the next issue,
Yeah, I know.
It's like, really, you're going this long. We have got and this is one of the things I want to talk about when we get to Occupy, and why I honestly think David Walker is the best writer at Marvel right now. I think Nick Spencer is a real close number 2, but I honestly have to say David Walker is, for what he is doing in Occupy and how he keeps you going. It's exactly what's missing from all these other books that I'm kind of picking up on the sly that just aren't doing it because, we'll get to it there, but David Walker, I really think, is the best writer at Marvel right now. And and you read Luke Cage, so I'm guessing that you're probably seeing this too. Although maybe if I'd read Luke Cage, I'd see that it's not in all of his books. But for right now with Occupy, it's certainly hitting me, not just in the nerd spot, but in the spot where I got to see where this goes next. But anyway, okay. But that brings me to my next book, and we're going to go with Great Lakes Avengers. Bertha! Bum, bum, bum. Got Big Bertha on the cover. In a very classic Hulk pose. And actually, they do break Bertha with the Hulk lettering. I forget who did that cover, but there was a very notable cover. So we open up with Connie Ferrari talking to everyone after they dropped off Nain Rouge. Nain Rouge is not dead, just severely beaten. Bertha makes a point that she's got a job to do. She's got to get to her modeling gig as a plus-size model. You find out that as she's leaving, Lucky, who is Good Boy's brother, comes in. And they're like, we got to get going. We got to leave. Because you just, attacked a councilman who's also a supervillain. That's not good. We cut to Bertha's shtick and her gig, and her agent really is not happy with her and is basically saying, she's like saying, you said, I want, you said, you said you wanted to work. You said you didn't care what. They're at Corktown Meats in Detroit. Corktown neighborhood in Detroit. I have no idea why it's called Corktown. I'm sure other people do, but not me. But I just know that, Corktown, yeah, I've heard of that. She's upset because she got this gig, but she said she should do anything, and she's like, I thought you were gonna have me do like, BBW, cheesecake porn, not do before and after shots for Dr. Nod's good bod. And we see Dr. Nod in evil mad scientist garb, floor-length lab coat that is double-breasted with, of course, his big sinister wax mustache and goggles, because, safety first. Flatman trying to talk good boy out of leaving. And then you got Bertha at her biggest in a sweatsuit. She's posing, but they're like, no, we want you to be sad, depressed. We don't want you to be a happy, big, beautiful woman. We want you to be sad. She gets a text from Good Boy that says, "Can you talk?" She goes out to talk, and then she realizes as she's about to text back to her that Dr. Bod is says, "I don't think she suspects anything. I got this. You worry too much." Yeah, I'll get the sample. What? No, it's under control. And then then she closes the door, and you see everyone start going, "Oh no," in bad words. And then she basically Bertha's out and starts punching her way through stuff. And but as it turns out, her agent was actually in on it and gets the sample. Bertha passes out. You see Good Boy and Lucky at a store because they got to hit the road, man. They got to keep moving. Meanwhile, you see Bertha is shackled. And we see what Dr. Knott has done with her formula. He has mixed it with mutant growth hormone and has created a situation where any person at any time can alter their body mass for 24 hours. Wouldn't that be a very valuable thing? And then, she says, "Well, I'm going to bust out of here and beat you all up." And then go, "I don't think so." And then they all Bertha out. Then we find out what a Tito Fraley is. That was a joke earlier, and which is do an Ace Frehley mask on a person's face and then draw a mustache. And that's what they did to Nain Rouge. And that is the end of the issue. Big thumbs up for Great Lakes Avengers. Still a great book. Still love it very much. Gonna keep buying it. I feel for the characters. I'm really fascinated to see where they're going. I really like that they're doing a Bertha-centric arc right now. And I'm going to be interested. I've always wondered about, supervillainy in non-superheroic states. And we're getting it here. So that's good. Big thumbs up.
All right, then I guess I will go to my next two are Clone Conspiracy kind of wrap-ups. I'll start with Prowler number 5.
Kind of Prowler that wasn't actually dead but is still alive.
Well, it's kind of like that end there where all the clones are starting to degenerate, and it's still the clone. So that's what I was saying. He's helping. So a lot of the clones are running amok, so he's helping Jean DeWolf, and then Kane and Spider-Gwen take care of all the clones that are going crazy. And then he's attacked by the female Electro, but he's saved by Julia Carpenter, but then she gets attacked by Electro, and Electro's about to kill her until the clone Prowler jumps in and he's fighting her, and then it looks like he does something with his gauntlets, like he may overloads them, because I'm not sure if he kills Electro, but the clone dies, and they kind of intersect those final scenes with Julia Carpenter waking up the real Hobie Brown, and he's like, and she's telling him, "Yeah, there was a clone of you," and she's catching him up, and he's like, what was he like? And as the clone's laying there dying, he says, "I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm not important." And Julia's telling the real Prowler he was good, and that's basically the last scene is her holding the dead clone.
Just like the real Dr. Smith.
But I guess it's still I thought maybe it was a miniseries, but the series is still going, so.
Yeah. I mean, they're all still going. Honestly, we keep on buying the dang thing, so they're not going to put miniseries on the cover anymore. Mm-hmm. It's like Thor the Unworthy. That was supposed to be a miniseries. Now they're like, nope, You guys bought this nonsense, so there you go.
Oh, they are.
Suck it.
Oh. Okay. Here's a good one. Our other clone conspiracy tie-in: Amazing Spider-Man 24.
Mm-hmm.
Night of the Jackals. That's right, plural. Again, this goes back a little bit to when Ben Reilly's fighting your buddy Otto, as everyone's like,
the best one. Let's remember the best.
And then they show all the Miles Warren clones are falling apart, except for there's one Miles Warren standing there, and he's not decomposing.
See, that's who the Superior should have been in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah,
should have been Otto.
But Miles Warren, there's what?
I can't hear you again, Phil. Maybe it's on my end.
Yeah. But like I said, all the Miles Warren clones started degenerating, except for there's one Miles Warren still standing there, and he's like, I must be the real Miles Warren, because all the other ones decomposed except for him. And he grabs his original Jackal costume, and he's like, there's only one Miles Warren again, and soon there will only be one Jackal. And they show Spider-Man and Marconi doing their thing with the webware, sending out the signal. And then they show the scene where Otto's telling Ben Reilly, we'll melt with me, we're going to die together. And that's when Ben Reilly's like, you moron, you saw, all the clones are going to degenerate except for, he's like, the proto-clone. And he starts going for the proto-clone to put his mind in it, but Otto, looks like he shocks him with something and knocks him out, and that's when Otto tells him, he's like, this was inevitable. He's like, I am the true Peter Parker superior. He's like, was there ever any doubt I'd be yours? He's like, yes, Ben Reilly, I figured it out. In fact, I counted on it. So, yeah, so moments later it says Ben wakes up and Otto and the proto-clone are gone. And so, of course, his arms are still there, and he's like, Otto had a good idea, leave his uniform and his arms behind, was everyone thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
So Ben says, I'll do that. So he starts taking off the Jackal suit and leaving it there, and he's like, okay, everyone will think I dissolved. And he puts on some clothes, he crawls out of the building, he sees a guy in a car with a webware watch, so he takes it, and that stops his degeneration. And
his decomposition.
Yes. So he steals the guy's car and he drives to one of his safe houses in San Francisco.
What are you doing, Phil?
What?
Oh, I don't know. Just I keep on losing your audio signal. I don't know.
Huh. No, I'm right here.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
But Ben drives to his safe house in San Francisco, which he made to look just like Aunt May's old house.
This guy's got issues.
Yeah, and he shows up, and Miles Warren is there in his Jackal costume, and he sets the house on fire, and of course they're fighting in the burning house. And,
as you do.
Yeah, and Ben's telling him, I thought I had to overcome Peter and all the memories and everything. He's like, but basically I just had to overcome you, and I'm over everything now. And he leaves the Jackal in the burning house as it comes down on his head. And the firefighters show up, and they're like, is there anyone else in there? He's like, no, just bad memories. And then you hear the Jackal yelling, ah! And he's like, noisy ones. And
oh my.
Yeah, the firefighters try to stop him. He knocks him out of the way, and he starts jumping over the rooftops of the houses, and he says, because one of the firefighters says, who the hell do you think you are? And he says, wrong question. Who I am, who I was, none of that matters. What counts is, who am I going to be now?
Bum.
But yeah, thumbs
the
up.
End.
I wonder if Otto's gonna show up in Scarlet Spider.
I would imagine he has to.
Yeah. And
he's going to show up somewhere. Although, like I said, I'm hoping he takes this new opportunity to be a new person, and be a truly superior Otto. Perhaps he seeks out Dr. Doom and says, "Let us create this superior four."
Oh.
Maybe again, as the smartest one there is, Otto basically gives Doom what for.
So the villains get makeovers and they become heroes. Okay.
Yeah, well, why not? I'll buy that for $1.
More than $1, my friend.
Tell me about it. I'm saying I would buy it for $1. I don't know if, like I said, Infamous. I mean, like I said, man,
Mm-hmm.
it's a villain book. Who's a hero? And we put in Ben Grimm, and it's like everything I could want. And it's like, oh, okay. Yeah. It's like, yeah, I read it and I bought it and I got bored. Okay. Shall we move on?
Yes.
Okay. So let's talk about an actual good book. That gets a lot of bad press right now from the nerderati. Hulk, number 3. And the big complaint I get on this is like, oh, you call a book the Hulk, and we haven't even had She-Hulk. Where's the real Jen Walters? Blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, I'm sorry that the character is having growth and story. Yeah, sorry about that. So we open up with the cops who are investigating a tick. I like the fact that apparently one is Seth Rogen. I don't quite recognize who the other guy's supposed to be, but definitely one is Seth Rogen. We see that Jen is having problems trying to keep her, Hulk persona under wraps. It is very fascinating that she is afraid to turn into Hulk. We see Patsy is reaching out to her, trying to be her friend. And Patsy and Jen, yeah, she wants to be your friend. It's Patsy. She really wants to be your friend. But we see Jen dealing with the fact that, the person that Patsy knew isn't who she is, It's like you want to be with me, but I'm not that person. I'm Jen Walters. I'm not She-Hulk. And we see there's a great, again, there's like so many great visuals in this book. You have her riding in the elevator to the roof, and you have the difference in her mind. She looks in the reflection and she sees Jen Walters, She-Hulk, and everyone's sort of looking up at her and admiring her, and Jen Walters, Lady Lawyer, and everyone just sort of on their phones. And we get a nice little replay of this when there's this woman on the roof as well who, goodness, I don't know if she's planning on jumping or what, but all that changes as soon as Hellcat shows up,
Mm-hmm.
And this is what I love about this idea within a universe of, superhumans is like, people really like, oh my goodness, that's the freaking hell. It's not like Hellcat is like, oh, hey, it's the world famous Hellcat. It's like, no, this is really among your B-list superheroes. Hellcat is right there at the top. I mean, you might have heard of her if you're me. But and she is pretty awesome. But let's face it, she's not a hero who, is going to shock you, except that she's like the hero who's right here in the building with you. And that's exciting for this poor woman. And you do get like Jen being very sad and pained, and get Patsy being a great friend to her. Honestly, this is the Patsy I wish was in the Patsy Walker Hellcat book. Okay? First off, she's well drawn. That whole anime art style was really starting to get to me. And more importantly, she's like actually this person who isn't, I don't know, she isn't bubblegum here. She's really just a friend of someone in need and doing everything she can to be her friend. And I love that about her. That is pretty awesome. We see Jen going over who Maze Bruin used to be. And, and kind of, who she's become. We see Seth Rogen and his partner, I think possibly Asian Fat Alfred is how I would describe him. It's a lot like the way they used to draw Fat Alfred back in the day. And, yeah, and they're talking about the building and like, is this the creepiest building you've ever been in? And you see like, basically Japanese wet kids hanging around, and one of them is actually wearing a life preserver and writing on the wall. And I can't. How long has the? How can I suspend it? They're just writing all over the walls. I can't quite read the handwriting though. And you see Maze talking to the voice in the darkness. You see what Maze's origin is that, she was attacked by her partner because her partner wanted to sell the business. She did not. So he had her attacked. She was in a coma. And, this, of course, very closely relates to Jen's own story because, of course, she was, also in a coma, so near death, and then to be brought back into a world we didn't recognize. And of course, they don't really go into when she got her powers, but that, of course, I'm sure was a whole other thing. One thing I like here is that you see sales of squeaky dog toys hit all-time high. That is an actual headline from the Daily Growl. If you actually ever get those newspaper squeaky toys for your dog. I just thought that was very cute. You see Seth Rogen and Fat Asian Alfred discussing what to do for dinner. And then the thing that killed Landlord Tick apparently takes out two of NYPD's finest. That ain't good. And that's where you get Jen saying, what's worse than dying or getting that close to death and getting turned around and dragged back into this world to be continued. Honestly, like I say, it is a great series. It is a really well written, well drawn, well presented examination of a character whom we've known for years, who's going through a hard time. And dang it, I just want to be, much like Patsy Walker, I just want to be there for Jen.
Mm-hmm.
More than anything else, I just want to be there for Jen. We'll help her through and walk her through. That's how I feel. And what's your next two books, Phil?
I guess I'll go to Black Panther number 11.
Oh, yes. The end of the arc.
Yes. I'm surprised you dropped this book, but I guess
Phil?
Hello? Can you hear me? Hello? Juan? Hello? Charlie?
I'm here. Okay. There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I hear you just fine. I don't not know what's going on with this.
Huh.
I mean, I'm connected. You just keep on going dark.
I don't know.
I'm not pushing anything on my phone. It's just, it's not like it's switching through broadband or anything. Like if it's going over to switching to phone or switching back to, I don't know. Anyway, so yes. So what happens in this book, though?
Black Panther, like you said, it's the end of the arc. Black Panther rallies the troops. His sister, did we see this before? I guess his sister can alter her. At one point, it looks like she changes the stone.
Oh, well, that's new.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we know that she could turn to birds, but yeah. So I guess maybe she's got multiple forms now. She can turn to bird. She can turn to stone. She is the living embodiment of the elements and the elements of Wakanda, one imagines.
But yeah, because I don't know why, but I don't know. Maybe sometime the next day or two, I want to go back and read all 11 issues, maybe in one sitting. Because there's a lot of stuff. I'm like, did we see this already? Because did we see that there was a duo, a man and a woman, the woman basically was mentally controlling people to riot and.
Yeah, that's the Mind Witch. Those are the main. Those are the main villains.
Okay.
They are. The Mind, and then her her boyfriend is the. Oh, I don't know if I don't know what the relationship is really, except that they work together, and he was the scholar's son, but he is becoming a revolutionary. He's he's all Trotsky in it, and
So yeah, there's war, there's fights breaking out all over, and then T'Challa tells that Baba, what is he, that philosopher, that older gentleman?
Yeah. That's the bad guy's father.
Yeah, he basically,
I believe.
Yeah, he basically sends a message out to the whole country. He's telling them, he's like, I know what drives you: the pain, the fear, the hate. We lost so much. And he's like, I know the humiliation. I also know Wakanda will not profit from more death. The old ways have failed us. And this is true for a new time. We need new traditions. No one man can possess all the wisdom. No one man can have all the power. It's like, but the path to our new country cannot be written in blood and fire. Come back to the house of our ancestors. Let us speak as brothers should. Let us show the world that we refuse to raise our sons in a field of death. Let us show them that we are exceptional. And then, yeah, the Mind Witch and the other guy seems like they maybe lost their hold for a second, but then they get a hold back on their soldiers. There's more fighting, and it seems like then T'Challa's forces. It seems like they have help from the troops on their side, and then I guess they must be from the land of the dead, because it seems like they have a bunch of ghosts fighting on their side. It looks like I don't know if that's supposed to be. I don't know if it's supposed to be T'Challa's father, because it looks like a past Black Panther, so I'm assuming it's his father.
Yeah, it's probably all the past Black Panthers. Because in the land of the dead, you can speak with all of them. You can, down to like whatever the very first Black Panther was.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they don't really give us much wrap up at the end, except it looks like at the end you don't see T'Challa. It's his sister at the head of the table, so I don't know if she's like the new ruler.
Well, she actually was ruling in his stead when he took over the land of the dead. So now that she's back, perhaps she is the rightful queen.
Yeah, I just wonder. They telegraphed it in that whole speech. It's like no one man should hold all this power. No man. I'm like, okay.
Well, yeah, but it's. I mean, they have to actually make good, and they actually have to put in a parliamentary system. Although it kind of implied there was a parliamentary system in Wakanda during the Doom War bit, because that was like the whole thing was that Doom had like manipulated the parliament in some way. I don't know.
All right, but yeah, it's a big thumbs up.
Yeah, no, I mean it sounds great. I did drop the book because quite frankly, it's just too many books, and as intriguing as it was as a philosophical read, I think my problem with Black Panther is probably my same problem with Batman. I know I don't think he's going to lose, and I don't know what the struggle is. It's. This was definitely better than a Batman book, obviously, but I haven't read a Batman book in years, so I really have no idea how good they are. I just know what my esoteric thoughts on Batman are. But it's like it was good, it was great, it was a fantastic book. I just don't know if it's a book I want to continue on when there are other writers who I think are better. Sorry, Ta-Nehisi.
Too many books.
You did your best, guy. You did your best, and not everyone is cut out to write comic books. Go back to being a MacArthur genius and a Pulitzer Prize-winning author. That kind of that's more your speed. This comic book stuff, that's hard. Yeah, I'm throwing shade at Ta-Nehisi Coates because that's just who I am now. I don't know.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Said one too many.
No. Yeah. So what's the next book, Phil? Oh, that was a thumbs up, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you said big thumbs up.
Yeah. I'll go with Uncanny Avengers number 20. There's so many good books. Do I make this my pick of the week? Maybe. Yeah, I'll go with pick of the week.
Yeah, it did seem really good.
Yeah, I mean a lot of Deadpool is a hero.
Oh yeah. Well, and that ending.
Yes. So basically, you get, Red Skull has, he's controlling the Avengers, and Spider-Man, Deadpool, and Wong are fighting them off. And that's when Synapse attacks them, then the Human Torch, till they blow a fire hydrant. And Spider-Man says he sent a distress call.
It's such a classic way to take up the torch.
Yeah. Then Quicksilver attacks them, but Deadpool shoots one of Spider-Man's web cartridges and webs him all up. Wong takes out Dr. Voodoo and says he's not a puppet, he's my friend. Uh, let's see. Let me see. Oh, the Skull's talking through all the mind controlled Avengers, and he's saying, if I can't get the torch to kill Spider-Man, I'll make Spider-Man watch the torch kill himself. And then Spider-Man webs him up. And then he throws Deadpool at the old Avengers mansion. And Deadpool comes crashing in and says, I was going to take it easy on you civilians here, but the first guy I see is dressed as Wolverine. Red Skull really is a sadist. Takes out the civilians with like a smoke bomb. Takes out Sin, the Red Skull's daughter. He finds a skull.
Who hasn't?
Yeah. He was about to shoot him when the Skull calls in Rogue, who starts attacking Deadpool, and he's telling her, snap out of it. The Red Skull says, it's kind of unsettling at first, someone whose mind they couldn't read, meaning Deadpool's. And, the Red Skull says, I used to see Captain America's dependence on teams as a weakness, but now that I have the most powerful telepathic mind in the world, I've really come around to his way of thinking. And he tells Deadpool this isn't going to end the way you want it to, and then he has Rogue put her fist through Deadpool, like in through the stomach and out his back.
Yeah, because that's never happened to Deadpool. So this is Tuesday, I guess.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, and he said he's going to enjoy experiencing, every blow that Rogue hits Deadpool with. He can see through her eyes, and he says, and I'll be in her mind. That I'll be in the mind of every Avenger as their hearts give out. And he's saying, he's going to go through all the Avengers, and they won't die quickly. He can telepathically prolong their painful last moments. And he says, you think you cannot die, Deadpool. That may be true, but perhaps you just haven't met someone as motivated as I am. And it ends with Deadpool saying, why don't you come downstairs and do it yourself? And Skull says, that's the spirit. Let's see if I can pull that bravado from you before I exterminate the rest of the Avengers. To be continued.
Yeah, which is just, it just had me saying, Brer Rabbit saying I was born and bred in a briar patch.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you can just see that Deadpool is going to just get Skull down there, and he's gonna, Skull's gonna think, yes, at last I can go into Deadpool's brain, and then realize, and now you'll never get out again, you fool. Not for nothing. Yeah. I mean, just not the smartest supervillain in the world, that Red Skull.
No.
Because he just thinks he's won. It's like, dude, you haven't won, and you never will, because you're a fictional character in a fictional universe, as Gwenpool would happily tell you. Oh goodness. Okay. No, that was really a great ending to a book, and I really liked it. And I can see why that would be your pick of the week, because it probably would have been real close to mine. But I actually have to give my pick of the week. Is it my turn again?
Yes.
Okay, my pick of the week is Occupy Avengers #4, written by David Walker. And I will say the best writer at Marvel right now. And here's what I'm going to say. Nick Spencer is doing great things over at Captain America. I really like the subtlety and the many layers that he's put into Captain America. But let's face it, he's got a really powerful... He's got a really great property he's working with. David A. Walker with Hawkeye and Red Wolf, and now Tilda Johnson, keeps me interested every issue, because there's always another mystery. There's always something going on, and I always want to see what the next thing is.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point in these books where I'm like, oh, well, I guess I have to read it. It's the only Native American superhero right now. I guess I'm going to read this. No, it's like, no, this is actually really awesomely written stuff, and I like that. And I really, really am enjoying this. And then the conceit that we have at the start of this, which is we get Tilda Swanson, the Deadly Knight, not Tilda Swanson, different Tilda, Tilda Johnson, Deadly Nightshade, going through her history here. And I don't know. Can we? Maybe it's just me, but it's like every time they like draw women in the braids, they all wind up the look always winds up looking like not Captain Marvel, Photon or whatever her name is now. I'm Captain Marvel. Looks like Captain Marvel, the real Captain Marvel. Black trench coat and dreadlocks and But anyway, but that's a minor concern. She only has it for a couple scenes, but we see that she is to be killed by a bunch of idiot thugs. But then, of course, Nighthawk saves her and gives her the opportunity to make amends. Then we get to Nick and the Howlers. Basically trying to kill Hawkeye and Hawkeye and Nighthawk, as basically Tilda and Red Wolf kind of like hang out in the back. They do a funny thing that Nick has a protein bar and he doesn't like them because it's not a cigar. It's a funny bit there. Hawkeye calls on his shield training to use it to give the confirmation codes, and the Nick Fury LMD stands down. They find out that basically someone was trying to break in that triggered it, but their communications array is down, which means they couldn't update the Nick Fury, so he still thinks Ronald Reagan is president. Oh, Ronald Reagan is president! What a hilarious idea! And you realize that this whole place is LMD factory. Because we have this deepening mystery of who's trying to steal LMDs. They do get attacked by, some guys whom they rapidly dispatch with arrows and LMDs and things. And we see Tilda downstairs basically doing what they told her to do. Send out the signal, download the information, yada yada yada. And basically harrowing her. We're going to make that as a thing. When you tell the black lady to make a phone call, but Tilda is not having it, and she told them to kick twice as much butt for her if she had to sit it out. And then she basically comes up and saves everybody's butt, shows exactly why she's called the Deadly Nightshade, and unfortunately the LMDs have been dispatched at this point. But basically, Tilda says she's going to go off with Hawkeye and Red Wolf. So we've got this great team now of Hawkeye, Red Wolf, and Tilda. And honestly, this is like the most exciting book I am reading right now. And I am just loving every freaking second of it. And to have Tilda, and I'm hoping Tilda is going to be her point of view character going forward. I mean, she was in this book. I don't know if they're going to keep that, but I really hope they make Tilda the point of view character because that is so strong. And just a fantastic book. Pick of the week, Occupy Avengers #4, big thumbs up.
Oh, yeah. Another good one. All right, then I guess I will go to Thunderbolts #10. The oversized 20th anniversary special.
$4.99, which is why it didn't get picked up this week. But it'll get picked up. I'll read it. I just, I knew you were reading it, so I said, what? I don't need to do the review.
It starts off with something streaking.
Make Phil do the heavy lifting. That's what I say.
But it starts with something streaking through space towards Earth. And then at the Thunderbolts base, they show Atlas outside thinking about how he's a follower. First it was Zemo, then it was Hawkeye. Bucky's a great boss now, but he misses Jolt. Then a portal opens, and the new Masters of Evil pop out. It's Whiplash, Mankiller, the Wrecking Crew, Claw, and Tiger Shark. And Mankiller basically tells Atlas he has two choices: join the new Masters of Evil or die. So he says no chance. He starts fighting them. He's trying to shrink and grow to, keep evading them and have them hit each other.
That was one thing that kind of confused me in this. Isn't Atlas also like isn't he like an ionic being too? Doesn't he have like Wonder Man powers?
See, he did for a while. I don't know. They might have changed that at some point, but yeah, that's what I was trying to remember. I was like, I know at one point he was like ionic powered, yeah. But I'm trying to remember.
So so that wasn't just me,
Yeah. But
Franklin Richard, I don't know.
But so they have him down and they're about to kill him, and what looks like a bolt of lightning shows up, and it's Jolt. She says, "I'm back." And it's like I never left.
Yes.
So she tells Atlas, shrink and go limp, and she, I guess, grabs him and takes off. And the Master's like, what the hell was that? And Atlas is like, no, you can't be Jolt. She's on Counter-Earth. And she says, it's really me, the young allies. They found a way to send me home. They had to bounce me off some satellites. It took months. And then Atlas passes out, and she's like, great, I'm back on Earth in the middle of the Arctic with an unconscious teammate. And back at the Masters of Evil, of course, who's running the show, Charlie? Masters of Evil. It's Zemo.
Yeah, it's Cap's best friend. His childhood.
Yep. And so they start heading for the Thunderbolt's bunker. And we get Moonstone. She sees Songbird and Mach 10 talking. Then she goes to see Fixer, and she's talking to him about, I have a loss of memory, and it's about the time we were watching Kobik. And so Fixer I guess he backs up his memories or his brain or something, so he's checking for gaps. Then we get Bucky thinking about the events of the last couple issues with Steve Rogers and I guess who's that? The Black Widow. And that's when he gets a text from Atlas, come outside, and he's like, wait, really a text message? We're trying to stay secret here when someone could trace that, but it's just Atlas's phone because it's the Masters of Evil. They attack Bucky, and inside, Moonstone and Fixer, well, Mach 10 and Songbird show up too, but they're like, Kobik, erased our memories, and Kobik's like, I wasn't being bad, you were.
Yeah.
That's when Mach 10's like, we'll figure this out, but then the lights go out, because of course, there's Zemo sitting there. And he's like, we're gonna have a little talk, and Kobik says, you're the bad Zemo man, you tried to hurt me. And he says, you imprisoned my mind. Made me believe I was a simpering civilian living in Pleasant Hill. Destroying you would be a pleasure, but we have loftier aspirations than mere destruction. And he's trying to contain her in the device Professor Selvig created, and then he tells the Thunderbolts that he thinks fondly of their time together and they should come back to the Masters of Evil. He's like, I'm proud of what we've achieved over the years. And they show Bucky fighting outside. So he's saying, you're always on the run, never a reward. He's like, is that a life worth living? He says, he's like, let me offer you a better path. Join me and be a part of something far greater than you've ever experienced before. And then that's when the Master's bringing Bucky all beaten up. Or defy me and be ground beneath the crushing power of inevitability. So he says, choose or you have your fate chosen for you. And of course, Songbird and Mach 10 are like, yeah, no. And that's when Kobik runs over to Bucky. She's like, "What happened to you?" He says, "I wasn't a good leader. Didn't protect you the way I should. I'm sorry. I try and do the right thing, make the right choices, but I just keep making mistakes." And she says, "I can fix it, Buckaroo. Let me fix everything." And she hits him, and they start glowing. And like I said, Mach 10 and Songbird take off. But then Moonstone and Fixer are still with Zemo, so I'm assuming they're with him now.
Yeah, well, at least they didn't get pulled into wherever Kobik. So did Kobik take Songbird and Mach 10 too, or did they just leave?
It looks like they
Or is
ran
that
off. It looks like they just ran off because at the end, the last page, Bucky wakes up, but it looks like he's in his original outfit. It looks like maybe he's in World War II now. Because it looks like in old World War II, Yeah. So that's what I was going to ask you. Do you think? I mean, we'll get to Steve Rogers, Captain America, but do you think?
Phil? Yes.
Hello.
Okay, there you are. Okay. Yeah, no, I got you back. Okay.
Do you think?
So he was.
I mean, we'll get to this in Steve Rogers, but do you think Kobik took him back to like an altered past, and Bucky's going to be like, "Wait, this isn't how things happened"?
Well, yeah, exactly. I think that's exactly what it's going to be. I think that it's that Kobik is altering the past in these ways, but I don't think that she's altering anyone's memories.
Yes.
So that we're living in this universe where all these things happen, but as far as anyone really knows, she's not altering the universe. She's just altering reality in a way. Or, I mean, I don't know. We're gonna have to see. We're gonna have to see where he is. But, and again, it's this whole thing with like the hubris of these supervillains. It's like, oh, we'll just use a sentient cosmic cube to do our bidding, because that can't possibly backfire in any way. I cannot imagine a single way that manipulating and here's what you're going to say about Red Skull. He wasn't there for Cynthia when she was growing up. He's not a good dad. So he really has no idea what it is to deal with a child. Yes. And you make that child, omnipotent. It's not good. It's not good. And we're actually going to see exactly how not good all of this is for the Red Skull, Baron Zemo, and even poor old Steve when we get to Steve Rogers, Captain America, number 12. So, thumbs up for this book, Phil?
Oh, yeah, thumbs up.
Well,
hello?
Finally. Or do you have another book?
No, that's it.
That brings us to the last book. We both read Steve Rogers, Captain America, number 12. Taskmaster on the cover. I know your secret. Bum, bum, bum. And we cut to a Universal newsreel. Interesting they use Universal. Mm-hmm. They're covers worldwide events. Deadline August 28th, 1942. Breaking news from the front lines, where a new hero joins the Allied forces, Captain America. Thanks to the Super Soldier program and the genius mind of Dr. Arnim Zola, a weak, sickly busboy was transformed into a fighting man unlike any other. Bum-ba-da-bum. And they make the point that together they're leading the charge against the Reich and their allies in the evil organization known as Hydra. Bum, bum, bum. Then we cut to the present. We see basically Selvig really starting to put the pieces together and really starting to question what's going on and telling Zemo and him to behave. Then we cut back to Begalia, where the person who should be in charge of S.H.I.E.L.D., Maria Hill, is setting up a clandestine meeting with Taskmaster and the Black Ant. And make the point that, we use code names here because identity theft's a very big thing in Begalia. And they have the evidence to bring down Cap. And we see an awesome android running amok. Cap tells Rick to try and We can see that this is all stuff happening that is outside of Steve's control. He doesn't know what's going on. We see Black Ant and Taskmaster make a deal with Maria Hill that basically says they get a 30% markup on all new weapons contracts for S.H.I.E.L.D. when she's put back in charge.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, yeah, sure. But she's going to go along with it, you know. Then we cut back to Cap during World War II, him meeting with Helmet, who is his handler. We cut back to Black Ant and Taskmaster about to meet Maria Hill, except that things have changed and they are attacked by a squad of Hydra agents and Madam Hydra herself. Cut back to Cap and Helmet, and it says, but before I go, I have a mission for you as well, old friend. One I am quite unsure how you will feel about. Turns out you are not the only wolf in sheep's clothing. Hydra has a spy in her own midst, and it is someone we both know quite well. In fact, she is the one who brought you to us in the first place, the witch, Elisa. Bum, bum, bum. Cap manages to defeat the awesome android. Cut back to Selvig pondering exactly how much Kobik altered in everyone's past, because he's aware that, you know, there's really no way that Heinrich or Helmet could be a childhood friend of Steve Rogers. We see Maria Hill waiting, but of course, Taskmaster and Black Ant are being held by Madam Hydra. And then we find out, and they say, you know, and he says, you know, that she's keeping them around because they're both useful. And they're like, well, we have no interest in, like, you know, what does he says? Says, I like you too. You're funny, and I think you can be of use to us. He says, huh. And who the hell are you, lady? He says, I thought the outfit would have. I thought there was a point here about. Let me just flip back here real quick to. He says, even if I show you Hydra's true face. And that was before when the Hydra attacks them. It says, I am at a Hydra, but since you are going to be working so closely, we're working together so closely from now on, gentlemen, you may call me Elisa Sinclair. Bum, bum, bum. So interesting. And again, we get to this idea of the good Hydra. And is Elisa part of the good Hydra? Is there going to be a different Hydra? I don't know. It's really exciting. A big thumbs up. Like I said, you know, I mean, Nick Spencer, he's doing fantastic work here. He keeps me interested, riveted, on the edge of my seat, wanting to know what the next mystery is. David Walker's doing the same thing, but David Walker is working with Hawkeye and Red Wolf and Hilda Johnson. So, you know, I think that Nick Spencer is probably just as good as David Walker, but I think that Nick Spencer is currently walking the easier path and having the bigger story to tell. And I think that David Walker being able to hold my interest with these, you know, lesser characters is not. And now, granted, one could point out that I am a lesser character nut, but that's why. I mean, honestly, this probably would have been my pick of the week if I had not been so impressed by Occupy Avengers. So yes, a big thumbs up for Captain America.
Yeah, big thumbs up. Yeah, this was another big contender for pick of the week.
Okay.
So is that it?
So that's all books. That's it. I only have 3 books on pull next, Phil. So
yeah,
I might get some. Or I might just say, you know what, I'm sorry, Unbeatable Wasp, you're a great Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but, you know, you don't have the mystery that David Walker brings, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I'm I'm not sitting on the edge of my seat, and we'll find out what goes on with Wasp in her next adventure. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Okay.
All right. Well, if you want to contact us, you can always email us, marvelroundup@gmail.com. On Facebook is facebook.com/allnewmarvelroundup. Twitter is @marvel_roundup. And our Instagram is Marvel Roundup. And Charlie, where can people talk to you about the Marvel Universe or Powerless or anything like that?
Oh, you mean the best DC show ever? Yes. They can always talk to me about Powerless as I, in that old-fashioned email way, at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. And if you'd like to follow me, will I live tweet the best show in the DC universe, #Powerless. You can do so. As well as many other shows like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Legends of Tomorrow, which is the worst show in the DC universe. And, of course, The Incredible Hulk, 7 o'clock on Saturdays when I'm not recording this here podcast with Phil, which is why I didn't get done this week. But you can always follow me at Charlie Esser. That's CharlieEsser. Look for the 2 E's in the middle for the quality.
And as for me, you could always email me to ask, why is Charlie Esser trying to give Zachary Hare a heart attack? NightwingPDP@gmail.com. On Twitter, I am at NightwingPDP. Check out all the fine programming on this podcast right here. Super Connectivity, Wade's World. What is the name of that show you and Moz are doing about all the Netflix shows? Or is it a different title?
Oh. It was a different title each show, so right now it's the AKA Jones cast. Part of that was the Cage cast. John Keys. I guess next will be Fisting with Maz. Yeah, maybe not that, but we'll figure it out.
Please figure that. Oh my. Okay. All right, come back next week. There will be less books and
hopefully.
Oh yeah, I know on my list there is, and you said there's less on yours, so join us next week. We'll see what else comes out of Charlie Esser's mouth. I can't anymore. Good night.